Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your premier source for Second Amendment news. What a day yesterday was related to the NRA, right? They had obviously Letitia James, the Attorney General for the state of New York, came out and launched her bombshell. And I'm in the midst of reading that case right now, that complaint. It is 169 pages long. And the NRA clapped back. They launched a suit against the New York AG's office in federal court. The New York case is in state court. But in their rebuttal, the NRA basically said that the politicians of New York have had it out for them for a while and haven't treated them fairly. But I'll tell you what, there is an amazing amount of detail in the claim against the NRA. I haven't finished reading it, but it's detailed. Like, they did some thorough work. But again, it's a lawsuit, so take everything with somewhat of a grain of salt. But a lot of the stuff that's coming out, we've kind of been aware of in the last year or two, reporting about what's been going on in the NRA. So it's been kind of a turmoil day. And then if you take into consideration that at the same time that we were watching the AG of New York's press conference, the Attorney General in Washington, D.C. also filed a suit against the NRA Foundation. And I have that lawsuit to read as well. That one is only 24 pages. But it's a crazy time for the NRA. Let's get into what's happened now after the fact. The NRA has come out, and maybe it's I don't know. I don't want to sound too facetious, but maybe it's an attempt to try to get some good press. And they're telling us that they are going to spend tens of millions of dollars in this year's election. But there are some things that came out in this interview that I'm about to talk about that made me, things that make you go, So Jason, I think it's Ouimet, Ouimet, he is the person who's the head of the NRA ILA post Chris Cox. He took over in September, and he had an interview with Stephen Gutowski of the Washington Free Beacon. And among other things, they were discussing the polar opposites of the two main candidates for this year's election, being the presumptive Democrat nominee Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And, said some obvious things like Joe Biden is pro-gun bans, gun confiscation, will make things almost impossible to buy, wants to do a registration, all the things we've discussed ad nauseum here on this channel. But what really got me were the numbers that were thrown out. Now, I'm looking at this from the outside looking in. Like, I am analytical in life for everything. It's a part of being who I am and where I grew up, part of my career, and also part of having 4 kids. You question everything. Like, I am looking at this and wondering, they just got smacked in New York because they weren't spending money on things they were supposed to be spending it on. Instead, they were funneling money to, Bahama trips and suits and private jets and all that stuff that's grabbing the headlines right now. Now, the NRA has said that they spent $50 million in the 2016 election. We all know that. They were behind Trump. And he's been at the last 2 NRA conventions. This year's was canceled. Otherwise, it would have been 3. And they also said that the cancellation of this year's NRA annual meeting in the convention has cost them between $10 and $15 million that they lost of that income that convention would bring. Now, if you read this lawsuit, then you could probably see spots where they could have made that up very easily, but I'm going to stay on topic. One of the things that concern me is that the claim by the NRA right now is that since June, they have added 1,000 members a day. Really? There are 1,000 people a day joining the NRA since June? And they're claiming some 60,000 new members. Hey, if they're doing the right thing all of a sudden today after the lawsuit, then good. But with the leadership the way it is, I don't think it's possible. But 60,000 people, I'm sure many of those are new gun owners. Welcome to the family. Make sure you do the right thing. Know how to use your tool. Learn everything you can about it. Get some solid training on how to utilize that. But 60,000 people since June. And I don't know. I'm skeptical on that. The one thing Jason of the NRA has said is that, and this is a quote, we've got a grassroots army, a massive grassroots army. They are not paid by any one person or any group of billionaires. These are folks who joined on their own, who got skin in the game, who go out to vote, and who advocate on the issue. He also said, we're confident that we'll be able to mobilize them and get them out there, and they'll be excited to do it. I mean, it's a big election and a big difference in the candidates. Now, also in this article, this is why I say be analytical to everything, guys. Don't just like blindly follow anything or any group or anyone. I'm going to read you this paragraph, and I'll have this article down below if you can't find it. It says, the NRA has sparred with Trump over his support for some gun control measures, including the implementation of his 2018 bump stock ban that Wayne LaPierre and Chris Cox asked for. It says, despite the fact that the Obama administration approved the sale of bump fire stocks on at least 2 occasions, the National Rifle Association is calling on the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, that's the ATF, to immediately review whether these devices comply with federal law. They're asking the ATF to look into this. And they continue. The NRA believes that devices designed to allow semi-automatic rifles to function like fully automatic rifles should be subject to additional regulations. That's the National Rifle Association's statement from Wayne LaPierre and Chris Cox, October 2017, in a joint statement released by them.
We need to stop dangerous people before they act. So Congress should provide funding for states to adopt risk protection orders. This can help prevent violent behavior before it turns into a tragedy.
I think if the NRA is going to try to win people back by spending money and fighting in the states where they need to be present, they need to be fighting. Let's be honest. Let's call a duck a duck. The NRA asked for, pushed, and helped direct the president to the red flag gun confiscation and the bump stock. Let's not forget that. In fact, that is probably one of their biggest black eyes in the last 10 years. Now, they continued, Jason also said that such disagreements don't take away from the president's overall positive legacy on Second Amendment issues or the group's support for him, and pointed towards Trump's judicial appointments, which he has done a ton of conservative justice appointments at every level. Not just the Supreme Court with the 2, but every level in almost every state, I believe. They also say that the fact that the administration deemed anything related to firearms as an essential business, which at the request of other groups, was a big thing. Now, the states that they're going to focus on are Arizona, Colorado, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Those are all considered swing states for this election, and the NRA is going to spend tens of millions of dollars in those states to fight off the anti-gunners. I'm going to take them at their word, see what they do. But I'm just skeptical because this happened the same day that the New York AG dropped the people's elbow on them, saying, hey, you're spending money on these things when you didn't spend towards your core, which is, gun rights, advocacy, training, and public information. Now, all of a sudden, that same day, now we're going to focus on the public information part again. Hey, as a life member, I don't want to see the organization as a whole, as it's currently structured. It needs to be changed, but that would be a huge void, and there's a lot of people don't think so. But, those people who know how these groups are structured right now and how big the NRA actually is, it is a vast group with tentacles everywhere. That is a big group, and to have that disappear overnight could be detrimental, and that would be a big void to fill. Now, there are groups there that will fill the void eventually, but it wouldn't be instantaneous. But I just wanted to get that out there. The NRA says they're going to start spending some money in these swing states to help to point out that Joe Biden is this anti-gun puppet that says everything that his masters tell him to. And as we get closer to the convention, the Democrat National Convention, which starts on the 17th, right, in 10 days, we're going to find out who his vice president pick is going to be. Might be Kamala Harris, might be Susan Rice, but that is coming soon. But until we see each other again, if you want more information, you're going to have to subscribe. Subscribe to Guns and Gadgets because they don't want this information out, so it gets suppressed. So you can help me by hitting that thumbs up, share it with some folks, make some cool comments like Wayne's got to go. I don't know. But until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, carry your weapon. Have a great day. Take care.